know about Aunt Elsa because I'm sure everybody has their story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their story to tell.
She can tell us how she likes boys.
How she likes little brown men. Little short brown men. But yeah, but it's cool. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's like a little hobby.
Oh, for sure. Because
Yeah.
grandma asks, "Oh, do you guys make money?" They're like, "No, but it's just a hobby." You know what I mean?
Just for fun right now.
For fun. Got to start somewhere.
So you can go to Top Golf or you can
Yeah, it's
Sit
like
on the-
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true.
All right, guys. Today we have a special guest. He was Postman of the Year, 15 years running.
23. Let's get it right.
He's a professional juror. Okay, he's not a professional juror, but he's
No,
been
I
on-
am.
Yeah,
I am a professional juror.
he's been on 2 murder trials.
Yes, I have.
He is the reason we have Navy,
Yeah.
Lillian's favorite dog in the world, and the reason we have Lily
That's true.
is Lily's
I think
dad.
between Navy and Lila, well, I call her Lila. I think she's more important.
Maybe.
Navy?
She beats Navy.
Oh, Lily does. Yeah,
Yeah, she beats Navy.
Not in Lily's eyes, but in everyone else's. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll get to the murder trial stuff because that's
For
pretty
sure.
cool.
For sure.
Lily wanted to talk about like
Like
your
where you're
childhood.
from, where you grew up. This is my dad.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, let's get the boring stuff out first before
Yeah.
we get into
The nitty gritty.
the murder trials or the trials I was involved in.
yeah.
With my wife, she always asks me about, you think he's guilty? You think this trial or this or that? And like, well, since I'm a professional juror, I'm gonna give you my opinion.
This is my professional
And
opinion.
then she's like, "You're not a professional juror." I said, "Yes, I am. I was in 2 murder trials, and I know exactly what goes behind the scenes. Maybe not in this case or in any other case, but I know what goes on behind the scenes. You don't.
Yeah.
All you were called for jury service once, and they gave you the boot because they already knew you have the guilty verdict in your eyes, where you're not fair
Yeah, fair.
and firm like me. I'm firm but fair."
You're like a real life
yeah.
Arthur from King of Queens. When he was on the jury,
On the jury.
he was like, he's guilty of sin.
and then the next thing, wait a minute.
This is a witch trial.
This is a witch hunt.
This is a witch hunt.
They got a vendetta against this guy. Yeah, for
He
sure.
kept changing his mind, and then they were like at the end, all right, or what's his full name? Arthur Spooner.
Arthur-
You're dismissed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're dismissed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even the jury. It was like selecting the jury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
selecting.
Yeah, they were just selecting the jury. But yeah.
He didn't make it through. But yeah, Dad, tell us about where you're from, where were you born?
So my name is Claudio Mota Jr. I was born in Mexico from the state of Zacatecas in a little ranch with adobe walls and a dirt floor. I come from humble beginnings. That's what I tell everybody. And at the ripe old age of, I believe, 6 months old, my parents brought me over to the United States. The funny thing is that even before I was born, I already had papers. So the way it worked back then, I guess it was easier to migrate. But obviously, times have changed, and it's not as easy as it was before. But I came over. I was like, when I was born, I already had papers because my parents were legal residents, and they were able to, get me my paperwork so I can be legal at the ripe old age of 6 months.
Because that's crazy. Because are you the youngest sibling?
No, my younger brother.
So
Hernan.
you're the second.
I'm second
youngest,
to the youngest.
but you're the only one born in Mexico.
Well, the story goes that I was gonna be the last one, but my younger brother was born the problem child.
I'm gonna send him that clip.
And he was born, and my dad always wanted one of his kids to be born in Mexico, and I believe I was the one that was chosen to be born there. And the thought was at the time that my parents weren't going to have more children. I was going to be the last one, but my younger brother was born, and so it turns out that I was the only one born, and my younger brother, he was actually born. All of them were born in L.A. My oldest brother, Gus, he was born at UCLA Hospital. Go Bruins, by the way. My sister, same thing, born at UCLA Hospital. My brother Mauricio, born in UCLA. No, he was actually born in Santa Monica, St. John's Hospital, which is now part of the UCLA network. And my youngest too. He was my youngest brother. He was born at UCLA Hospital. But yeah, I'm originally from Mexico. Grew up in Culver City in the housing projects till we lived there till December of 1982, and we moved to LA at the house that my mom still lives in since December 1982, which I think is like how many years? That's a long time, no?
82, 30,
82, 24,
30 some years.
at least. No, well,
33,
more.
Like at least 40 years.
Like 40.
Yeah.
I'm bad at math. When I play blackjack, my wife has to count the cards for me.
Yeah.
I was like 80 to 2000. That's
No,
10.
no. But it's over. It's over 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over 40 years, and she still lives there. My dad bought that house in December 1982, along with my uncle, for like $50,000 a duplex. Can you imagine?
In the middle of LA.
In the middle of LA. In the middle of LA.
Yeah, it's considered like in between Santa Monica and downtown.
Yeah, downtown. It's called West Adams District. Still LA, but it's a West Adams District. Lived there till December of 1982. Went to school in LA for the most part. Graduated high school and did odd and end jobs, and then finally started working for the post office in December of 2000.
2000.
And I've been there since.
Dang.
Been there since.
When Lily was 6,
No, I was 5.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, well, how many years have you been working at the post office? And I go by how old my youngest is. She'll be 24. So I started working at the post office literally like 3 weeks after she was born.
Dang.
Yeah.
You're like, yes.
Yeah. And I had always told everybody that's going to be my last job, working for the post office.
I think you have some of the best attendance in post office employee history.
No, not really.
I swear.
Not really.
You have
Compared
like,
to your
I wish I
coworkers?
did.
you have like
I wish
400,
I did, but
you have like 400 million sick days saved up.
No, you know what? You know what's crazy? I have like they base it on hours, right? So I have like 900 hours of sick leave, but there's people that work in the post office that have like 3,500 hours, 4,000 hours, and I'm like,
That's like a year, isn't it?
no, 3,500 hours to
How
4,000.
long is that?
That's like 4 years.
So they
Like
can
4
retire
years.
4 years early.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, what they do, like that have that many sick hours, they'll go to the doctor, get a note, and they'll be off until they use up all their sick time.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're off for like a year or two before they decide, oh, no, I'd rather just be
bored.
retired. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be retired.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have like 800 hours, but, carrying mail is like a hard job. Everybody thinks, oh, all you do is carry mail. No, it's not that. And sometimes, unfortunately, got to do what you got to do and take them sick days off because you're so tired, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know how, like some of them that have like 3,500 hours, 4,000 hours, I'm like, bless your heart, but I can't do that because, you gotta rest, man.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
It's
true.
like-
What do you do when you get when you were a mail carrier?
Yeah, because I'm no longer a letter
Like,
carrier.
how did your day go?
So usually, when you first show up at work, there's like a line of people waiting to clock in, right? Because we all report at the same time. So let's just say 8:00 in the morning, we're all waiting in line. As soon as you clock in, you go get what they call a hot case. And a hot case consists of flats, which are magazines, large envelopes, and then you have your hot letter hot case, which is your letters. Go pick that up first. You get your hot letter flats. Your hot case flats, and then your hot letter letters. Get that all in once. Take it to your case, and then usually they'll have like these little tubs that already have, that you get magazines, and that's already pre-sorted to your assignment. You grab that, put it on your case ledge, and you just start casing one letter at a time. Then once you're done with that, everything you have in your case, you go back to see if the clerks have any other residual flats or letters, and then you grab that and then you go back to your case and you start casing. At that point, if you have nothing else to case, then you do what it's called pulling down. You have to stop?
I think it's sissy scratching. It's okay, Dad. You can keep talking.
Okay. And once you stop that, once you have no more mail, you pull everything down, and then basically you get all your mail, and then you go hit the street. Once you hit the street, you go get your parcels, which is like boxes that people order, Amazon, UPS, or stuff through the post office, and then you sort them in the truck, kind of like in the order of delivery that you are going to do that day. And then once everything's already set up where you have your parcels in order, you have everything else in order, get in your vehicle, do your first stop, and then you go delivering as you go along.
So you do the whole organization of your own truck.
Yeah.
And then go out and do all the deliveries.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I don't do that no more.
Yeah, no.
I changed crafts. I'm no longer a letter carrier. So I'm a custodial engineer, which is basically a janitor.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, you left being a letter carrier to be a custodian." I'm like, I did. I was like, I was tired of carrying mail.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot easier. It's a lot better.
Not like indoors.
Like I'm mostly indoors. Sometimes you got to go outside and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm not out in the elements anymore. You know, didn't matter if it was 110 degrees, you still had to be out there. Didn't matter if it was cold, you still had to be out there. Didn't matter if the sun was not out, you still had to be out there. It's like you're out there. Yeah,
their slogan is true.
Yeah, exactly.
Nor sleet, nor snow.
But you know what? That's not even an official post office slogan. No,
it's just like on a commercial or something.
No, what ended up happening, I think at a train station or a museum or something like that. I don't know. They hired I think it was at a post office. They hired an artist to do like a mosaic of some sort, and so he invented that term, you know, through sleet, through snow, and all that. But it's not really an official post office slogan. It was something that a guy they hired to do a mural on the wall or something like that. He came up with that, and ever since then, that's pretty much stuck.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But being a custodian is night and day from carrying mail.
Yeah, like much easier.
Oh yeah, a lot easier. I mean, because you know, in a typical day, I remember I'd get like anywhere from 3 to 500, you know, parcels, which is like packages, and then on top of that, after like during and after COVID, you know, for whatever reason, the post office had a hard time keeping new hires because the job was so demanding, and people were like, "Oh no, you know, this is too hard. I can't do it." And a lot of times, they would quit like either on the first day or a week later because the job was so demanding.
Dang, that's crazy so quickly.
Yeah,
it's like you didn't even give it a shot.
Well, they have what they call a shadow day, where basically they follow you all day, right, to see like what the job is like, right. And they basically just follow you all day. And there's people that quit just when they shadow you because they're like, my God, they're walking all day. They're going up through steps. They're like 20, 30 flights of steps. They're doing that like anywhere from 10 to 20 times a day. They got packages. They have accountable mail, which is like certified, registered pieces of mail. You need a signature on. If they're not home for like accountable mail, you got to leave a notice for them. Then you got to bring your package back to your vehicle. It's a lot, you know. And they quit on the first day because they see that there's like it takes a long time to do that job. Not just do that job, but it's like really, really a strenuous job.
It's like a lot. Like you're working all day.
Yeah, you literally are.
You're not like
like when at the worst point, I think was 2020, the elections. I remember. For whatever reason, here in California, all the politicians like sending out mailings, you know, like
flyers.
Flyers, yeah, like flyers,
yeah.
And I remember, the political season 2020 was the worst I've ever seen it. Right, I'd have like literally 30 to 40 feet of just of those, and then like really thin. and you'd have to case because political mail they considered first class mail, and first class mail is like you can't mess with first class mail, and they would treat political mail as first class. So you would have to go one by one, put it in order. Literally one address would have like this much of just political mail, this thick.
Crazy.
And you know what's the craziest part about that? As soon as you deliver it, the customers just throw it out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they hate political mail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then sometimes you'd be like, well, why do they send it if they know people throw it out? But then again, it's like it's revenue for the post office. You know, what you guys do behind your, behind closed doors is okay with us as long as you pay us to deliver it. Because I know when I get political mail in my house, I mean, for the most part, you already know who you're gonna, you're gonna vote for. I'm like, I don't need to see
You
this.
get this little thing. You're like, oh, I'm changing my vote.
No,
Yeah.
This little postcard.
no, because you already know who you're gonna vote for, right?
Like 99%.
Yeah. So I just get when we get it at home, me and my wife, we just glance at it and like, oh, this crazy, oh, this nut job, oh, he's not doing anything. So we just toss it.
This year it was texts. Did you get like 1 million texts?
No, I didn't.
I got so many. I don't know where I put my phone number at.
Probably when you
What?
registered.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I got a couple, but it wasn't too bad. This year, I don't think this year was as bad as 2020 because even at the station where I work at, I didn't see a lot of political mail like it was in 2020. But I mean, there was days where it got heavy, but nothing compared to 2020. 2020 was like a phenomenal year for political mail because even when I would get home, I'd tell my wife, I was like, look, I hate this. I don't even want to see. I don't even want to vote now because I'm so upset. But yeah, it's a lot different. Like my job wise, you know.
Did you say the working conditions were worse than when you started, like for new hires?
Yeah, because I know the station where I worked at, it was like a veteran laden station, and they were like, the people that worked there were like patient with like the new hires. Even the management would like take their time to train you to do the job. But nowadays it's like they're so desperate for work, they just want you to be out on the street and delivering mail. There's times where like they wouldn't even give you like a day after you finish training where they just would like bombard you with stuff. You like instead of like easing it in, they just like here. Either you're gonna make it or you're gonna fail.
Yeah,
That sucks.
And it's different. I mean, I tell people, post office has been good to me. You know what I mean? I was able to do a lot. I was able to pay like 26 years of child support. So child support alone was priority number one.
you got your new
crazy.
shoes.
Yeah.
For reals. No, for reals.
And then it afforded me like, when my kids were living in California, take them on vacations here and there, splurge on things outside of child support. But, if you really dedicate yourself, I think if you work for the post office, you'll get a lot more than what they take from you. You know what I mean? Because I have no complaints about working for the post office, and I tell people, if you really want a job where it's going to benefit you and your family, or if you have a family, it's like, try to get a job with the post office. Now it's a little bit different than when I first started because they demand more than what they did when I first started. But like, if you're able to overcome like the beginning, right? The beginning working for the post office, it's like it's one of the best places to work for. It's not a plug for the post office, you know what I mean? But like I'm just going off of my own experience.
Go apply here. Use Claudio's code.
No, they'll be like, no, because they're not here. Like, hey, you sent this guy. He was terrible.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
for
no,
reals.
I didn't send nobody. You
I don't know him.
They go on their own
He
free
just
will.
saw it on the internet.
Yeah, but it's different. It's only different because it's so demanding now. You know what I mean? It's before when I first started, we didn't deliver UPS packages, we didn't deliver Amazon packages, and it was just basically everything that came through the post office. But I will say this: if it wasn't for Amazon and then UPS like using us to like deliver packages for them, I think the post office would probably be in trouble.
Yeah, because they don't.
Because like the first class
revenue.
mail, yeah, because every year the first class mail just keeps declining. I mean, there's still mail that comes through, like letter mail through the post office, but nothing like when I first started. And I can just imagine before I started how much mail they got before. But
Oh yeah. I feel like most people don't know this, but your tax money doesn't go to the post office.
No, a lot. That's the biggest misconception. Like people are like, oh, my taxes pay your salary. And that's not true. The post office is self-funded. And, whenever you buy a stamp or whenever you ship something through the post office, that's what pays us. The salary. That's what keeps the post office going.
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
I know, they, for a couple of years, the post office was kind of struggling because there was a mandate where they had to pay like $75 billion a year, $75 billion or $80 billion into the retirement, like the retirement fund. But it's like the post office never really made that much money, to put into it. And that's why they were always in the red. But now ever since they took that away, it's doing a lot better,
Do new people still get pensions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you do. You do. Basically what it is like when you first come in, you're considered a CCA, which is a city carrier assistant. And basically, you're like the mule of the post office, right? They have you do certain tasks. They have you delivering mail. One day you can deliver mail on a route. The next day they'll just have you delivering packages. One day they'll have you delivering a route. Then when you're done with that route, go out and deliver packages. Or if not, go deliver packages in the morning and then go help someone out on the route. Because I know when I first started, it was just they gave you a route to deliver mail. And then after you were done with delivering mail, before you would go home, you check with the supervisor if they needed you to go anywhere else to help out or if they had any mail in the station to go take out. That's how it was before, but the dynamic is like changed totally. It's like harder now. It's harder now. But like I said, if you're the mindset where you're going to want to make this work out, then you can. You can. But like I have no complaints as far as working for the post office. Post office has been good to me.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, I can find a better job. I can do this. Then go.
Then do it.
You know what I mean? You're not forced to. There was a manager that would always say, whenever issues would come up, she would always say, the post office didn't go knocking on your door for you to come work for them. You went to their door to go work for them. So, if it's so bad, then maybe you should, find something that's suitable for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
But nowadays it's like, where are you going to find a job that pays like $75,000 and $80,000 a year with like a high school diploma? You know what I mean? It's like it's rare.
It's hard
I mean, you can find it. I'm not saying you can't, but it's kind of hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to like jump from working to the post office and go work in a construction job, a roofer, or something like that, like, nah, you guys can keep that. I'm sticking with the post office.
Well, we saw them because they're building a bunch of apartments coming in, and I just see them with like the big tools and like,
I mean, I'm sure they get paid well.
Yeah,
but that's
really hard work.
Really hard work.
It's hard on your body,
and it's seasonal.
Yeah.
One thing a lot of people don't realize is that the post office is like recession proof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you work at a construction, on construction, construction goes, if a recession hits, what's the first thing they stop doing? Construction, because there's no money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But, one thing about the post office, it's recession proof. Like I said, one of the things I'm thankful for is because I was able to pay 26 years of child support.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks to the post office.
It was like 26 years of 26 years of child support.
A lot of dads don't do that. So
yeah, for real.
You know what?
If my dad's listening, you can send me that money you owe my mom.
Yo, I have a fat bill for you.
But a lot of people are like, you paid 26 years? I said, yeah, 26 years of child support.
That's
and
crazy.
Like, how much was it? I started doing the numbers and I'm like, damn. I'm not gonna say how much it added up to.
That's crazy.
But I started writing it up. I'm like, damn.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's a lot of money.
I don't want to know because it'll frighten me.
Well, you would have spent the same like if you were with their mom,
probably, or with anybody else. Yeah. And then when I come with the number, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to pat myself on the back. I did a good job.
Yeah. Good job, Claudio Mota Jr.
Like, how many letters was that?
Yeah, for real.
Seriously, I'm like
1 billion.
Jesus Christ! I'm like, dang, that's a lot of money. But yeah,
thanks for always being loyal to your kids.
everybody's like, oh. You should be like dad of the year or this or that. And I'm like, it's nothing. It's like, it's a responsibility you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like every time they tell me that, like, never once did it cross my mind not to provide child support. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like I tell them, they didn't choose to come into this world. You know what I mean? Maybe I didn't choose to have the babies at that time, but it happened at that time. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I hear a lot of stories of like deadbeat dads that they don't provide child support for their kids, and it's like they're not even in their lives. I think the very least, if you're not going to give them child support, at least be part of their lives. You know what I mean? But it's not something that, as far as the child support's concerned, it's not something that
you feel bad about or mad about?
No. I don't feel not mad about. It's my responsibility.
Yeah.
I remember one time one of my friends was like, even wolves look after their young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even animals look after their young. And they're animals, and you as a human, you know what I mean? And I was just like, nah, I'm not upset
think about it that way.
I really don't. Except when I look at the number, I'm like, damn.
I wish I had that back though.
That's
you
a
get
lot of
sticker
money.
shock. You get sticker shock. Yeah.
But I have no regrets as far as that's concerned.
Well, you're always very involved. Like, I don't really have memories of you not being around.
The only time I think I had it the hardest, and I'm sure it was like you guys had it the hardest when you guys moved to Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we moved when I was 11, which was like end of 2006. Yeah.
Something like that.
It was November 2006 when we left California.
And it was the worst time for me because I only saw them like twice a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would always go in January, which was like the second week of January because it was a holiday, a federal holiday. And I would kind of like take a couple of days off before that holiday so I could spend a couple of days with them. And then
it was Martin Luther King Jr. weekend.
Yeah.
It was the best weekend of the year. Of the year. It sounds like my dad's coming.
It was Martin Luther King, and then depending on your mom's mood swings, if you guys can spend a month with me during the summer or 2 weeks, it all depended.
Oh yeah.
But
normally we got away with a month.
Yeah. But it was.
Are they scratching at the door?
No, it's my leg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was. I think that was like the worst time I ever had as far as like not seeing you guys, you know what I mean? But, we were able to like, I think I bought you guys a computer and we were able to, at that time it was Skype, wasn't it?
Yep,
yeah,
it was Skype.
We were able to Skype. And then I remember she was a teenager and she wanted a phone. And then I couldn't afford to put her on a phone plan. Yeah. So I got a prepaid phone for her.
I had my prepaid phone.
And then sometimes I'd forget to like pay it like because it'd be like, I don't remember if it was every 15 days or every 30 days where you had to like prepay and re-up it. And then sometimes I'd like go over like a couple of days and then I'd get a call from her, Dad, can you put money in for the phone? And it was funny because at the time, I couldn't.
I'd wait a week. I'd be like,
Yeah, because phone plans back then,
they were really expensive.
They were like $80, like $70, $80 a month.
Yeah.
And then people were probably like, you can't afford. No, I couldn't afford $70, $80 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
An extra phone.
Yeah,
per kid.
Yeah, because I was paying child support. I was living with my parents at the time because I couldn't afford to move out.
Yeah.
And I was paying them rent.
Yeah.
Then I had a truck at the time that I was paying the Tahoe, the black Tahoe. I was paying like $500-$600 a month on that.
That's
and then the insurance on that truck. Like literally, I think if anything, I probably had like $400 or $500 left over for that month.
Yeah.
So it's like to try to get you a phone, to get your brother a phone, and then to get your little sister a phone. That would have been like $300-$400 there.
Well, I think we took turns. Like as soon as one hit a certain age, we'd get a phone.
Yeah.
First it was Yayo. He had a phone first.
Yeah, but I think he got that through your mom. No. I think your mom got him a phone first. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That would make
then
sense.
I would use his phone to call you.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Yayo, can I use your phone?
Yeah, because I gotta call Dad. He needs to put in money on my books.
Yeah.
And then
on my books.
Yeah. And then I think the last one to get a phone was your sister. Mm-hmm. She was the last one to get a phone.
Yeah.
But it was even then when
she got one, she was a lot younger than me and Yayo.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. She probably got it like when she was 8 or 9 or 10 or something like that.
She was a lot younger.
Yeah.
Always the youngest kid gets things younger.
Sooner.
Sooner. Yeah. And she got her phone, and then I remember when she left her phone at school, and then the custodian took it, but he didn't take it, and then I'm not sure who went to the school to complain about it, and then I had to get her another phone, but I think this time around I got her like the same phone, but I think I got it on eBay cheaper than just buying a whole new one.
Yeah.
And then when we all upgraded to new phones, I think Yayo left your mom's plan and came over with us. And I think at that time things were a little better as far as like money wise was concerned.
Yeah.
And I think at that time I was probably paying for 4 phones like 200, 250.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
That's
still
not, that's a lot, but not terrible for back then. I feel like I heard some people had like 500, 600.
Yeah. I guess it
Crazy
just
phone plans.
depends.
Just depending on what they were on. Now we have the best phone
Yeah.
plan.
Well, the
Thank
whole
you,
Are you
Yayo.
on Claudio's?
Yeah.
Oh shit! You know what?
Yeah, shout out to
I
my
owe him.
brother.
I think,
You're
I
late
think
on your
I'm behind.
bill. All 3 of us are on my
I think-
brother's phone
yeah, we
plan,
are.
and we all pay him every
yeah,
month.
Yeah,
Gotta pay your
I think I'm
dues.
behind on it. If Yaya, if you're seeing this, payments on the way, okay? Yeah, I think I am behind on him.
Well, the whole reason why so like you bought us a laptop with a webcam, and the whole reason for like buying us electronics was so that we could stay connected
Yeah,
while
while you
we
guys
were
were
in
in Texas.
Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I agree, those were like the worst years of my life as well.
Yeah.
like being in Texas.
Yeah,
Like I could probably cry like talking about it sometimes. Like it was like miserable.
yeah, because
we went from like seeing you at least every other weekend,
yeah.
to like twice a year,
yeah,
and that was hard.
yeah, because
Yeah.
even when you guys were living in Long Beach, I'd still go over maybe not all the time, but I'd go over during the week to go get something to eat with you guys.
Yeah, you would try.
Yeah, would try, and then after school, pick you guys up and then take you home afterwards. You know,
Or you'd pick us up from school after school and then take us to a Dodger game afterwards.
yeah,
You would do that too. Yeah.
Sick Dodgers.
Yeah. Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.
Don't forget
Yeah,
to go
You're
Dodgers
at,
and
like,
go Bruins.
You're at like every Dodgers game, not all of them, but UCLA.
UCLA and the
because-
Dodgers.
This is the order of the teams that I follow. So UCLA is first and foremost. Okay.
And why is that? Why is UCLA so special to you?
I don't know.
Is
I've
it just
never
like
been.
easier to go to college games?
No.
or-
I've never attended UCLA, but I remember I used to work at a place that made copies. You know, like copies. You know, like I need this form copied
Copy
because I
mat.
need it. Yeah, it's copy mat, right?
Yeah,
Copy mat.
which no longer exists.
There's
Is there?
one store.
One?
The store in Westwood still exists,
Wow.
but it's like really small.
Oh.
So I was working at a copy mat in Westwood, and I remember at the time they would sell what they call readers. It was like class material. We would make copies for them, and we'd sell them to the students. And I remember one time one of the football players came in, and he was like, if you ever want to go to a game, just let me know and I'll get you tickets. I never took him up on the offer, but I thought that was cool that he offered it, right? So after I started working at CopyMat, I went to go work for this talent agency called William Morris Talent Agency, which at the time was like the oldest talent agency in the United States. And there was an assistant that worked there, and I don't know exactly how UCLA came about, but one day he offered me tickets to a UCLA football game. So I said, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, here, these are the tickets. I didn't go to the game, but I guess, UCLA at the time, if you didn't go to a game, but you decide to go to the following game, that if you turn in those tickets, they'll give you tickets to that same day, that same game.
That's cool.
So I went to that first game and I was hooked ever since then. I never attended UCLA. I'm not a student of UCLA. I was never a student of UCLA, but it just clicked. I'm like, you know what? I like this coming to the games.
Yeah.
And this happened like in 1998. And I've been like a UCLA fan since 1998.
That's crazy.
So in chronological order, it's UCLA, it's the Dodgers, because of my wife, LAFC soccer. And do I have a fourth team? I don't really follow professional football as much. I don't have a team that I follow. I should say that. But, it gives me a chance to talk smack to other people that follow their teams. Your team sucks. What team do you have? I don't have a team. That's why I can talk smack, because your team sucks.
Yeah.
And then working at the post office, like everybody has different teams that they follow. There's obviously the 49ers, and then Pittsburgh Steelers. There were some that go for the Raiders, some for the Rams, and I think I'm starting to kind of follow the Rams, but I'm not there yet where I'm going to support them like I support, UCLA or the Dodgers. But yeah, that's the order that I usually follow things. I mean, you guys know when I come around, it's like I got to see the schedule. Hey, they're gonna play this day. I think I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna come over.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna go over. You guys want to go?
Yeah.
And just so that you guys won't break my heart. Like, yeah, we'll go.
Yeah. No,
Right?
I'll always join you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fun to go.
It is
Yeah.
fun to go with you.
'Cause
It's
we were
fun to
just-
go with someone that's passionate about the sport.
Because we were talking about that. I think earlier today. Like, do you really follow sports? You're like, no. I mean, I'll casually or watch it if someone else is watching it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I can if I could, I could probably watch sports all day. But also I'll probably catch a nap and then keep watching it. Yeah, I like this.
What's the score?
What's the score? Then like, okay, they're still in the lead.
Yeah.
But like to say I'm a sports fan, I would say I kind of am, but not really. You know what I mean? I can miss a game. You know what I mean?
Well, you missed a game to come visit us this weekend.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I was like this close from like postponing.
You're
it.
like, should I visit
no,
them?
but then I was like, but they were like, no, I can't. So I
Yeah.
gave the tickets to your uncle.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he went or not, but I hope he did because it was actually a good game. Because we were seeing
Yeah, we
it
were
here.
watching it. Yeah.
We were watching it here.
Yeah, we were watching it here.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
could have been there.
See, that's
Damn
fun.
kids.
Yeah.
I could have been there to support my team.
Yeah.
But then I have a dilemma coming up because our granddaughter's birthday is on the 23rd, and that's when UCLA plays their biggest rival, SC.
Yeah.
So
And that's your stepdaughter's daughter.
exactly.
Yeah. My dad doesn't have any biological grandchildren.
Because my kids don't want to have kids.
He's like, it's all their fault.
Because
Yeah.
I had told you guys, remember, it's like
There's
I just
no,
don't.
there's no surprises here, by
No.
the way. Like, yeah.
No, it's all out in
there's
the
no,
open.
Yeah, there's no surprises
Yeah,
here.
it's
No,
all
no,
out-
yeah, no biological grandkids.
Yeah.
There's no surprises.
Like, it's all
So-
jealous.
so it's
She's like,
like-
he doesn't have any green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's my stepdaughter's
Yeah.
kid, Sophia.
Well, I'm trying to say, like, there's no secret grandkids
No, no,
anywhere.
no, no,
Yeah,
no,
that's
no,
what
no,
I
no.
meant. Like, there's no secret
No.
grandkids. Yeah.
She's
My brother didn't have some random kid.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Nor Sanki.
No, sorry,
Nor my
'cause
sister.
I had always told him growing up, it's like, listen, if you guys are gonna have kids, just don't have it before I'm 50. That's all I
Yeah.
ask. Like, you guys really gonna listen to me, right?
Yeah, we took him
And
very
then-
seriously.
Yeah, and then,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
he's still taking it
Yeah,
seriously.
still taking it seriously.
And then now that I'm 53, everybody, I'm like, okay, clock's ticking.
Clock's ticking, yeah.
I'm ready to be a grandpa.
I'm gonna wait till you retire. I'm gonna wait till
But then I'm gonna be too old to even play with the
Wait
kid.
till
or
9 and
the-
a half.
59, yeah, 59 and a half.
Yeah,
I'll wait
but
till
it's funny
till you
because
retire.
it's funny. Like even though Sophia's not my biological granddaughter per se, you still feel like it's your child, like your grandchild, right? Because I know we went to an open house for her preschool where her mom works at, and it was just like, oh, we got invited to her open house. Like I don't think I've ever been to any of you guys' open house. No, I don't think
You
I
probably
have.
just didn't get the message passed along.
Well, I've never
Yeah.
been to one, but then when we got invited, I was like, oh, that's so cool.
yeah, not to no fault of your own.
No,
you know?
no.
And then us as kids, it's like, what do we know?
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know? It's like,
for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then we went
Yeah.
to this is a 1-year-old's open house, so we thought we were gonna go in and talk to her teacher and see like what progress she's having. Nope. All we did was go babysit her because all she wanted to do was play in the playground.
Yeah.
And then because her mom works at the preschool, all the teachers know her.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
All the teachers know her.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then she was just like playing in the jumper, and then she'd scream at my wife, Nana, Nana. And then she would like just to get our attention, Pampa, 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 Nana.
Yeah.
It was
Just so you
cool.
watch.
Yeah, just so we can watch her
That's
play.
a good way to have a kid. You work at this because it's free, right? For
No,
her?
she pays.
Or like a discounted
Well, yeah, but she still
daycare.
pays.
Yeah,
She still has to pay.
yeah, because it's
And
expensive.
it is expensive, and it's funny because Sophia's teacher is her mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's funny.
Yeah,
She
And
listens to her.
she does.
Yeah.
It's like if I always tell my wife that if anybody was born to be a mother, it's her.
Yeah.
Her. I mean,
Yeah.
this girl is like spot on with taking care of her daughter. It's like sometimes we'd be like, if you and Jose want to go on a date or want to go out or free time, just let us know. They're like, no, we're okay. And they almost like never want to like leave her, which is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is good.
I only seen them together like once or twice with the baby. I think once at the birthday maybe.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah.
And she seemed like she listened. Like
the little girl
immediately.
listens.
And kids don't always listen. Like you can tell some kids have no discipline.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She you
listened,
know
like,
it's like any
listen.
child. They have discipline with the parents,
Mm-hmm.
but as soon as they're not with the parents, they're free to go wild. Not that
It
this child
depends.
goes, but this child's like, you're like, this little girl's not listening. This little girl's not listening. But with the grandchild, you're just like, they can't do no wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But she's
that's true.
actually a good kid. This little girl is actually a very sweet girl.
Yeah.
We call her our little brown girl. Because she's so cute. Yeah, she's so cute. I'm just waiting for my kids to have one so I can start spoiling their kids too. But
Probably in like 2 years.
it's going to be a while.
Yeah. I know.
2
2
years
years.
plus 9 months.
No
2 years plus 9
rush, no
months?
pressure.
Yeah, I
you
know. It's hard because we're kind of like, I don't have like the support of like a grandma or someone to like watch them. Like they'd have to go to daycare.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to like take
Well,
that into consideration.
I'm home all day.
Yeah, but
But
it's a
gonna be
lot of
It's a lot
responsibility.
of
It's
work.
a lot.
I'm gonna go to the gym, have one.
No,
hand.
Yeah, it's a big undertaking.
If it was
Yeah.
hard back then, like when you guys were born or when I was born or even when you know, let's just say in the 80s, it's always been hard to have a kid. You know what I mean? I don't think everybody's like, well, when's the right time to have a kid? It was never a right time, you know?
Yeah,
Because if one thing is true, prices never go down. It
Right.
can be the price of gas. It can be the price of having a babysitter. But I think more than anything, like if you have, like you said, like a grandmother that's
some
not-
kind of support.
some
like,
kind of
yeah.
support, it's easier. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because I think childcare is like one of the most important things that you would have to think about. And if you guys decide not to have a kid because of that, I don't blame you guys. You know what I mean? Because it'd have to be, I'm sure, expensive.
Yeah,
Just childcare alone. Never mind the food, the clothing, like, you know, God forbid something's medical
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it is. And that's why I don't take it lightly. And
Like
plus,
I tease
yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know you're not being serious.
Yeah, I tease you guys, but if you guys
Yeah.
decide not to have any kids, I don't blame you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because even with you guys, I'm sure it was tough on mom. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it was tough on mom because, you know, back then, I'm not gonna say I was the most responsible dad because I really wasn't. You know what I mean? I had my moments, and your mom, you know, did what she had to do and, you know, did the right thing.
Right.
You know, like I always give credit to her. You know, we might have our differences, but that's one thing I always say is that I give credit to their mom for how my kids turned out. And not to say my kids are angels because we all have our moments, but I give all credit to her because, you know, thankfully, you know, nothing's bad has happened to them where they were in jail or they were in trouble. They
She's
were
been in jail a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't
I'm a
supposed to say that. you're supposed to keep
didn't
that
know about
low key.
Keep the skeletons in the closet.
No,
Yeah.
it was prison.
No, that's literally my worst fear is being locked up.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm
Me
so
too.
scared.
That's
I'm
why
I'm a good boy.
I'm like, I'm a good citizen.
That's why
Yeah.
I follow all laws, obey
Yeah.
all rules of the road.
No, for real.
You know, because that's my
scary.
biggest fear.
That's so
like
scary.
it is. It's
Yeah.
like especially now that. Well, I can't say I can't say that because of, you know, California, but like a lot of states, they have like zero tolerance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And-
3
and-
strikes and
yeah,
you're
no.
locked up for life.
Not just that, but
Yeah.
you know, if you're caught like stealing stuff from the store, some states, some counties, some
They'll
areas,
prosecute.
they'll prosecute you to the fullest
Yeah.
extent of the law.
Yeah,
You know,
and I'm
and that's my biggest fear too.
yeah.
That's why I tell everybody. That's why I'm a good boy.
Yeah, yeah,
You
for
know,
reals,
I don't.
yeah.
I do not want to go to jail, and I don't
no.
know how like these people that are always in and out,
And-
like how do they do it?
Life
Life
just
is
seems so hard.
Chaotic.
Life just seems so hard
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, because even spending a day in jail would be a lifetime for me.
Uh huh.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be like, I gotta prepare dinner. I gotta
No.
stuff to do.
Yeah.
I got places to
I gotta
go.
wash my
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my God,
not just that, but it's like you're around other people that have done worse crimes than you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah.
steal a pack of Snickers. Well, the guy behind did 2 murders, and
armed
he's
robbery.
on trial. No,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
on trial for another murder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, that's
Speaking
scary.
of murder,
Yeah.
what was this? It was hard to segue into this, but
Yeah.
I was like waiting. But the murder trial. So the most recent one he did was the murder trial.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they both were. But
Well, they birth. The first one I was on was Gabriel Fernandez.
yeah, like a very famous.
Yeah, it was like a real high profile case in California. I don't know outside of California, but I know it made like national headlines.
There was a Netflix documentary.
There's a Netflix
it was a
documentary on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like Netflix famous.
Well, I would have people message me on Instagram to be like, I saw your dad on the documentary.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yep.
really?
Yeah. I've had like at least 2 people message me about it. Or
Yeah,
no,
it's
actually more.
Really?
My family cousins, the Leyvas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they messaged me about it too. They're like, we saw your dad, blah, blah, blah.
So basically, that trial was about the mom's boyfriend who killed this little boy, Gabriel Fernandez, who was God. It's been so long. It's been 7 years since the trial.
He was like 6 years old.
He was like 7, 6, around there. He wasn't older than 8, and basically this little kid, for like seriously like 6 to 8 months, was just like tortured by the boyfriend and his mom. And what ended up happening was that I think the day that the boyfriend killed the little boy was he did something in school, and the guy was so frustrated that he kind of like literally picked him up, right? Punching him in the chest and in the head. And then the final blows was where he just picked him up, threw him up against the wall. And when he threw him against the wall, he hit his head on the wall, and he just never woke up from that. He was like in a coma, but he just never came out of that.
Dang.
Yeah.
Who called emergency services?
They did. And the parent, well, the mom called and claimed that he was wrestling with his brother. He fell and there was an accident. But when they came out and saw, this little boy's body was bruised from like head to toe. Bruises like all over his body, cigarette burns all over his body, malnourished, like sunken eyes. Like he was like literally being starved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I tell people, if you see the Netflix special, right? Everything in that Netflix special was true. There was like nothing made up. There was nothing that was not true about it, because everything was actually happened. Because sometimes they shows would come out with stuff and they'd kind of like exaggerate. I'm not gonna say make stuff up, but they would kind of like bend the truth a little bit. But everything in that documentary was true. A lot of people are like, well, how did you not feel bad? Well, yeah. How can you not feel bad about a 7-year-old little kid being tortured, being killed to death, slowly killed to death? And I remember in the trial, it's like, I would always think about my kids. You know, what if one of my kids was Gabriel? You know what I mean? Like, how would I feel, as a parent, And I think the lowest moment I had in that trial was they showed us a picture of him already, deceased. And they had him like propped up, facing up, and they had like a little wooden stick, not a stick, but a wooden prop in the back of his head, and he was just like motionless, right? And from the top of his head down to his toenails, like there wasn't an inch that wasn't bruised, that wasn't cut, that wasn't burnt, that wasn't abused. You know what I mean? And then when I saw that, obviously, I don't really get sentimental, but I just saw my kids there. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, it's like this is real. You know what I mean? Like, there's really evil people in this world.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And to do it to like a 7-year-old, a helpless 7-year-old, and the worst part about it is that this little boy loved his mom, but his mom hated him. His mom was just like, this is the worst thing that could have happened to me, having this child. And I remember during the trial, like the teacher came to testify, and then they showed, I think for Mother's Day, like right before he passed away, maybe a month before he passed away, he still drew a picture for his mom saying, "I love you, Mom." After everything he's been through, he didn't have hate for his own mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember seeing
How long
that.
did the abuse start? Like,
It
when
was
did
it
this
was
start?
it was for like a good 6 to 8 months.
Is it like when she started dating that guy?
No, so basically what happened is when he was born, his mom gave him up because even before he was born, she didn't like him because she said that she had suffered a lot, that she went through a lot with him, that she had no love for this child. So she gave Gabriel to her brother, her brother, and kind of like said, "Here, take Gabriel." I had want nothing to do with him. So the brother was like, "I'll take him." And from like he was born to like he was about 6, he was living with his brother and the boyfriend's brother, right?
Or the brother's boyfriend.
Yeah, a gay couple,
Yeah.
right? And so they both gave him affection, loved him, gave him everything, gave him a loving home, but came to a point where the his mom's Pearl Fernandez's dad went and took him away from the brother because he didn't want the son growing up in a gay household. You know what I mean? So that's where like things started going downhill because the dad took him away from, like the parents, like he only knew,
Right.
and then started living with him. Not that it was going bad with the grandfather or his grandmother. Things were going good, but what ended up happening is he was living with them for a while, and then because Pearl wanted him back just for the welfare benefits, the guy whose name is Isauro went to the dad's house and was like, "Hey, we're gonna go to a birthday party. Do you mind if we take Gabriel with us?" So the dad didn't really think nothing of it. He was like, "Yeah, but when are you gonna bring him back?" "Oh, we'll bring him back tonight." So the dad was like, "Okay, just make sure you bring him back. Okay, just bring him back. Go ahead and spend the day with him and bring him back." So that day came and went, and he was never brought back. So the dad was like, "What's going on?" The dad went to the apartment they were living at, and no one answered. It was like no one answered. So he's like, "Oh, I'll come back tomorrow." And then he went back the next day, knocked on the door, and no one answered. And then he called the cops and it's like, "Hey, listen, my grandson is living with me, but I don't really have legal documentation that he's living with me, but I have this notarized copy that the mom signed over so he can stay with me." And the cop was like, "Well, this notarized copy isn't going to work unless you have actual court papers, and I can go in and take him out. But other than that, I couldn't." And then when that happened, I guess the dad lost hope. So he's like, "Okay, well, if she's a mom, she has every right to be with him." He just never pursued it. And after that, that's when the torture, the abuse, and everything that went wrong, to his death, started happening. Because I remember, like during the trial, the notes I was taking, they would like feed him. They would feed him spoiled like vegetables. They would starve him. They would feed him like cat litter. They would beat on him regularly, and it was all because of, I think, the Pearl manipulated Isauro, into doing what she wanted him to do, so that she wouldn't get like her hands dirty. And everybody's like, "But why? But why?" And I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna say, and it was because, this guy never really had a girlfriend. He had one girlfriend, but it was just like a little fling or something. He had one girlfriend, but it wasn't nothing serious. And then when he met Pearl, it got really serious, where he started getting like sexual with her. So I think in order for him to like have a sexual relationship with her, he would tell her, "Hey, Gabriel's doing this, go discipline him. Hey, Gabriel's doing that, go hit him. Gabriel's doing this, I need you to to pretty much do the dirty work." You know what I mean? And
So you think the boyfriend was like a puppet?
for sure. Yeah, it was that's exactly what he was. He was a puppet. And everything she wanted him to do, everything she wanted to do to him, but she couldn't, she used him. And it's sad. I mean, the best thing I can say is just like watch the Netflix special. Everything in that is like true and
Yeah.
factual.
Well, you said on the trial for the boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
Not for the mom.
No, because it was two separate trials. You know, all the evidence they had against him was against him, not against the mom. And a lot of people are like, "Well, if anybody, the mom should be. If anybody, the mom should be on trial." Well, yeah, she's going to be on trial, but this isn't her trial. This is the guy, because you can't try someone for the same crime, right? If one person didn't do the actual punishment, you know what I mean? Didn't do the actual physical act of torturing or abusing him. She was part of it, but she didn't actually do it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening, they had separate trials. Almost, I don't feel bad for the guy, but part of me is just like, you know, things could have gone easy for him if he just would have like made a deal with the prosecution where he would have been like, his life would have been spared, right? But I guess he took a chance and things didn't go his way, and you know, he's sitting on death row right now.
Oh, he got death row?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
He got the death penalty.
How long are people sitting on death row right
Like
now in
30,
California?
35 years.
It's in California, right?
Yeah, it's California.
So,
Yeah, it's going to be a while. Chances are he's going to die of natural causes than him actually, you know, he's going to sit in jail and die of natural causes before they ever put him like to death.
How
Yeah.
old is he? Or was he?
At the time, I'm going to say he was about 30, 32, like in his early 30s.
yeah, you're definitely old enough to be making
Yeah, those
your own
kind of decisions.
And if she was manipulating him, like, still,
It's
if
like-
you're a bad enough person to do that to a kid, no matter what the girl's telling you.
You deserve what you get,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because at any point, he could have just walked away from it. From the first day that he probably laid hands on him,
Right.
you know, he could have been like, you know what, this isn't what I want, right? Never mind that she's doing all this to me, but
yeah.
this isn't right. I can just,
Did he suffer abuse at her hands?
I would say mental. I would say mental. It didn't come out, but the way she's portrayed,
Yeah.
she's like very manipulative. You know, he could have just walked away, cleaned his hands of everything, and would have been like, nah, you know, I can't do this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This
Could
is
have took him back to the grandpa.
Yeah,
could've-
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy was like 6'3",
Oh,
like 300 pounds. And this little kid was like 3'8", 3'10", weighing like 60 pounds,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I would have been just like, you know what? Oh, hell no, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
You know, no amount of sex is going to make me do this. You know what I mean? And then for him to go through what he did,
That's pretty crazy.
like, really?
yeah.
You know? It's
That's
like,
pretty crazy.
it's not worth it. You know, your freedom, your life, you know, not just that,
And
but
the child.
but your conscience. You don't
Yeah.
have a conscience.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was that this kid, he didn't grow up. I mean, he grew up poor, but he didn't grow up in an abusive environment. You know what I mean? I'm sure, like any other kid, you have your issues. You know, growing up, growing pains and stuff like that. But you know, he came from, you know, an okay family, from what I recall, from a loving, you know, mother and dad.
Yeah, from what you know.
Yeah, from what
Yeah.
I know, you know what I mean? But still, it's like he could have just walked away from everything and been like, oh, no, this isn't for me. But he continued. Pearl was like manipulating him into doing things that, you know, she knew was wrong,
Yeah.
right? And it was just like, wow. I try not to think about it a lot, only because it's like, if you think about it, you're like, dang, you know, what else could have been done to avoid all this? But
But there's nothing you can
there's
do
nothing
now.
you can do now.
Yeah.
You know?
Does it
Yeah.
ever keep you up at like during the trial
No.
or now? Did it ever keep you up at night?
I can't say it did, only
It
because
didn't disturb you like that?
it disturbed me, but it didn't keep me up at night, right?
Yeah.
Because I just try to keep everything in focus and be like, well, I'm here for the trial, right? I'm here, you know, I can't let this consume me, because if not, then I'm not gonna be. I shouldn't be a juror if I'm gonna let personal feelings interrupt with what I'm there for, right?
Right.
And I remember going in, I was like, you know what? I heard about the trial, but I'm just gonna forget about everything I've heard and just hear what the evidence, is going to be presented and go by that. And thankfully, I did.
Mm-hmm.
You have a really strong mind
Sometimes.
because of that. I couldn't do it.
Should not.
I would be in a wreck. I'd be like, I can't go to work. Like,
They would kick her off the jury.
I'd be like,
be
let me
crying.
out. Yeah, I'd be crying.
Well,
and like it would keep me up at night.
there was like 300
I'd be really disturbed.
There was like 300 prospective jurors, right?
Yeah.
Dang.
And the first day I got a jury duty, I was like a lot of people. They're like, wow, all this for jury trial?
Yeah.
Like I was naive. I'm like, I don't, why is there so many people? Because I didn't know how the system worked, right? When you pick a jury. So I was like, wow, there's a lot of people. Then I remember sitting on the bench and then I saw this lady come by with like one of those tribute shirts and it had his name on it. And I'm like, no, this can't be it, right? Because it was like out in the news at that time. Like, no, this can't be it. And sure enough, when they brought us into the court, the judge told us what the trial was about, and it was about the Gabriel Fernandez. And I was like, wow, what I mean? This is a big trial, right? Because it was like all over the news in LA.
Yeah.
And then they had us fill out a questionnaire, and I just filled it out like honestly, right? Like, do you believe in the death penalty? And I'm like, yeah, I believe in the death penalty under certain circumstances, right? Does your religion, the religion you follow, does it go against the death penalty? Like, yeah, I'm a Catholic, and I think the Catholic Church doesn't believe in the death penalty. And it's just a bunch of questionnaires, and I just answered it truthfully and honest. And then we turned in the survey, and then they told us to come back like a week later. And I guess with the surveys, they dismissed a bunch of jurors, that answered the questions that didn't go either to the prosecution's way or the defendants. And so they started like letting people go. And then I think on the last day, I wasn't being called. I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to be called. I was like, oh, well, it is what it is. And they called me up, juror number 4, we need you to step in, seat number, no, juror so-and-so, we need you to step in seat juror number 4. And I sat down and I was waiting for them to ask me a bunch of questions because that's what they did to all prospective jurors. They didn't ask me one question. I'm like, what does that mean?
You're the perfect juror.
I guess. Like, they must have said, oh, this guy's the perfect juror. He neither favors the prosecution or the defendant.
Yeah.
And then when they sat me down, I was waiting for them to ask me questions. They didn't ask me anything. And then they asked another juror to go sit down. They started asking me questions. I'm like inside of my head, I'm like, hey, I'm still here if you guys forgot about me. I'm ready to answer any and all questions. And that day I was seated, they chose a jury, and then I was like, wow, I guess I'm going to be part of this jury.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're hand selected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Because I was like expecting them to ask me all kinds of questions, but they didn't. But everybody that was in the jury, people came from all different backgrounds. There was a girl that was like a music producer or was like in music or in the entertainment field. There was this other guy that actually worked for the post office and started at the same post office I started at.
What?
Yeah. And then there was this other lady like social worker, like a retired engineer.
Wow.
It was like a couple of retired people, but it was like you couldn't have picked a better jury for that trial.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then after the trial, we kept in touch for a while.
Yeah.
But then it kind of like died off, and
Yeah.
I don't hear from them anymore.
Right.
Yeah, because I guess we all decided to just go our separate ways.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only connection was the trial, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once everything was presented, I mean, it was only, not that you decided, the 3rd or 4th day or the 10th day, like the guy's, if he's guilty or not.
Right.
But everything was just leading to the end, right? And then once we all got into the jury room, we all decided, like, a man's life is in your hands, right? Did he or did he not do it? Your opinion, did he or did he not do it? And unfortunately for this guy, all evidence pointed to, him being guilty, and he was found guilty. And that was just like it wasn't, that was just a phase where if he was going to be found guilty of the crimes he committed.
Right.
But then we had a separate trial for the penalty phase, whether it was going to be 2nd-degree murder or 1st-degree murder, where if it was 1st-degree murder, he was going to be given the the death penalty. And if it was second degree murder, he was just going to get like life in jail and stuff like that.
That's crazy because second degree is like you didn't mean to kill him.
Exactly.
It was like spur of the moment, and he was beating him spur of the moment, but he was torturing him.
Yeah.
over a period
For
of
something
time.
like you gotta expect.
Yeah, for like a good 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and this poor little kid is like, and I think he really loved his mother. You know, a kid's love for his mom is never.
It's like unconditional.
It's unconditional. Exactly.
Yeah.
It never turns off. You might be mad at your mom, but you're never gonna stop loving your mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this poor kid, like he was going through all this. His mom was putting him through all this. His mom's boyfriend was putting him through all the stuff he was going through, but yet he still loved his mother.
Yeah, I remember that was like part of one of the saddest things in the documentary.
Yeah, that is one of the
They would
saddest things.
show him like, I love mom, and I think they showed
That
the
Mother's
thing
Day
that he
thing.
made.
I love you,
Yeah.
mom. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love you, mom. And he was going through hell,
Yeah.
his
Yeah, he
own
was.
personal hell.
Yeah.
You know,
And he fell through the gaps in the social care system as well, right?
the system failed him from point A to when he died, because cops would go over to his house to check up on him, and the mom would she was very manipulative. She would tell them, "Oh no, he's fine," blah blah blah, and they'd believe her. Social workers would go over, they'd knock, no one would answer, and give up, wouldn't go back. The teacher tried, but she couldn't do anything because
She can only do so much.
she could only do so much. And not just that, but every time Gabriel would tell his teacher something, his teacher would go report it. Then people would go out to their house to go check up on him. And then he would get tortured more because they would come over and try to check up on him. So he was like, he got to the point where I'm not going to tell you nothing more because every time I tell you something bad happens to me. And so the teacher was like, God, what can I do? I can't do anything anymore.
Because
You
they
know what
would
I mean?
go to the door, like the social workers, and they wouldn't even lay eyes on him. And then they
No.
would leave. And
Yeah.
then they would
wouldn't-
just, yeah.
They wouldn't look him over and stuff like that. I think also in the when the trial was happening, there was a security guard that saw him come in with Pearl to get welfare benefits, and that's basically what it was she wanted to get custody of him so she can get more welfare off of him, from him. That was the only reason why she went and got, not because she loved him or wanted to take care of him,
Right.
just to
Just
get
for monetary benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that
and it wasn't
happens
even
Quite
like
a bit. Few $100.
Yeah, like what, $200-$300?
Yeah.
This poor kid's life was worth $300 at the most, right? Because that's all she wanted him for. So the security guard, where she went and go get benefits, he walked in. The security guard saw him and he was like, "This kid is like half dead."
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And this was like literally 3 weeks before he died. When he walked in, he had like cigarette burns, sunken eyes, bruises all over his head, bruises all over his hand. And when he walked in, he was like, "My God, what is wrong with this kid? Something's wrong with this kid." And he noticed the cigarette burns because he said that him and his brother used to play games and they used to burn themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So they used to burn themselves, and he knew that was like cigarette burns, right? Now, how does a 6-year-old or 7-year-old get cigarette burns? Not because they smoke, but because he's being tortured. And I think he reported it to the people that were working in the welfare office. And the only reason why they didn't report it to the police or higher ups or authorities was because they weren't allowed to get overtime. And she came in close to closing time. Now, if she would have reported what was going on, she would have incurred overtime. So that they won't pay them overtime,
Right.
they just swept it under the rug. You know what I
crazy.
mean? And it was just I was just like, wow, some kid's life isn't worth what, $40-$50?
Yeah.
You know?
Or like the next day. Why didn't they do something the next day about it? Report it the next day.
Because
Like
they
put
didn't-
a note on it,
again, it goes back to the overtime. They're like, if we annotate it now, that means we have to pursue it
Immediately.
Not immediately, exactly. This is because what do they call it?
Like,
Lila?
why don't you put a post-it note
Well, I
on
guess-
your own forehead?
They'd probably ask you, why are you reporting a child abuse the next day
Yeah.
if you saw him,
But,
So they didn't want to get in trouble,
They're,
and
they're mandated to report that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's like you're mandated to report that.
yeah.
But they never did, and the system just failed this poor little kid.
Yeah.
Everything from the school, the principal of the school even told the teacher, "Don't get involved. It's none of our business. The principal of a school,
That's crazy.
right? Don't get involved.
Like, who's protecting our
Like,
The
kids?
police.
He should go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, indirectly.
Yeah,
You know what I
some
mean?
of these people should.
The social workers who didn't follow up on everything. You know what I mean? The police who came out and checked. And a lot of them, again, didn't pursue it because I remember one cop that went to go check up on him. He was close to quitting time, right? So he was like close to quitting time. He didn't want to pursue it no more because he didn't want to work overtime.
Dang.
And look what ended up happening. Poor little kid ended up dying because of that.
That's sad.
You know, but thankfully that because of that, not thankfully, but because of that, there's been a lot of reform, with the child care now, that like if you have to like really investigate what's
follow
going on,
through.
you got to follow through everything, because they don't want to go through what they went through with this poor kid. And I think if he was still alive, he would have been like 17, 18 years old right now.
That's insane.
That's great. That's
Like,
how long ago it was? already?
Yeah. The trial was in October of 2017.
Dang.
That's insane.
Yeah, like 7 years ago.
Yeah, that was when I started my first semester of nursing school.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. That's by so
2017.
quick.
Yeah, 2017.
That's crazy.
And then the trial was in what year was the trial in?
2017.
Oh, okay.
No, the trial was in 2017, but
The documentary.
yeah, but the documentary was in 2018.
Oh, okay. So it was
Yeah.
pretty close
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when he got killed was like in 2014. I'm gonna say. I'm not really
Oh.
sure.
Yeah, because they have to build
Probably
their
a couple
case.
years.
Yeah.
Usually you sit in jail for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It
Jeez.
depends. Yeah.
Can't imagine what was
Maybe a
going through
year or
his
two.
mind all those years.
He's probably just scared.
That's
He's so small, like,
Well, this didn't happen over years.
no.
No, like
I'm talking
6
about
months.
the guy that got convicted.
While he was waiting for
Oh, he was
trial.
in, he
Yeah.
was in trial.
Yeah, why didn't he plead guilty?
I don't get
well,
that,
because
yeah.
he thought he can get away with it probably.
I don't know
He
how
prob-
you thought
probably was
with the
hoping-
manipulation thing.
Yeah, he probably thought that if he goes to trial, someone's gonna like not find him guilty, right?
Like
pretty
one
He
insane.
took a chance, yeah, but
Pretty
you
insane
know,
to think that.
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
they had like a book, like literally two notebooks, like this thick of nothing but evidence. 2 notebooks, going through everything, pictures of the poor kid, pictures of the stuff that they would like beat him up with. You know what I mean? It wasn't just physical torture. It was like mental torture because while they were having relationships, they would lock him in like a cabinet. In front of them, so he was hearing everything that was going on, right? He can look through the slit to see exactly what they were doing. They would handcuff him, they would blindfold him, they would like cover his mouth up so he wouldn't speak. This little kid, he was just
And there was 2 other kids living in the same household.
yeah, but they didn't do nothing to them.
Yeah, they like love those kids.
Yeah, they like doted and loved those kids. They didn't touch those kids. Those kids weren't even.
Were they Pearl's kids or the step?
They were Pearl's kids. All 3 of them were Pearl's kids.
I don't think that man had any kids of his own.
No, he didn't have any man. There was also she also had a daughter with another guy, but the other guy was like, "Oh, this lady's crazy. I'm taking full custody of her." So that child was saved because she never went through anything like her brothers and sisters saw that Gabriel went through. So she was shielded from everything.
She was older than Gabriel?
Yeah, she's older. She was older.
Because the other 2 were younger, right?
Yeah, the other 2 were younger. Wait, I don't remember. I think they were. No, they were younger.
It was a boy and a girl.
The boy and the girl were older than him.
Older than Gabriel?
Yeah, older than Gabriel.
Really?
So weird. Why does she love the first few kids and then...
Because she had a hard time during her pregnancy with him. So she had all this built up anger that she was like, I can't stand this kid because I'm going through one. But she was all like already crazy.
She was already
She's a
definitely
nut job.
mentally
She was
unstable.
mentally, yeah.
Because you being sick during pregnancy isn't the kid's fault.
Yeah.
It's
No.
your hormones and
Yeah.
your
Yeah, but
body.
she decided that this was not going to happen.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
then it
insane.
turned out that she saw what happened to Isauro, her boyfriend, and she decided just to plead guilty. She's like, forget all this, and she ended up pleading guilty. And the prosecutor was the same prosecutor in the trial I was involved in. He was the same prosecutor where she pled guilty. He was going to prosecute her. he was just like, I'm gonna go after her the same way I did the guys. Like, just because she didn't physically do this, she was still part of it. So I guess she saw the writing on the wall and was like, I'm gonna plead guilty.
No point in going through a trial, right?
How long did she get?
She got life in prison. She got life in prison without the possibility of parole. But I think like stuff I hear on social media is like she's getting beat up in prison.
That's good.
She's getting tortured.
Hopefully.
I mean, yeah, it's like she's like safe in prison, but she's getting. I think the first day that she went to prison, a bunch of girls jumped her and like beat her bad, really, really bad.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then it's like every so often I hear, oh, she got beat up again, and she got,
Yeah, you always hear about in prison they don't like people who do things to kids.
No, I think that's like the one thing if you're in prison. Not that I've been in prison,
it's
but
like you're no good.
You're like it's like you're marked for life. Like if you do anything bad to kids, you're marked for life. That's like one thing they don't tolerate if you're in prison. But she's just like, and good that it's that it's happening to her, because she's never gonna repay what she did to this poor kid. No. It's never gonna be enough. And this guy, he's locked up, but he's gonna be in there. He's gonna die of natural causes in prison.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
We just found out there's a federal correction institution
today.
close to where we live.
Yeah, they're like your neighbors.
I was like,
They're coming
what?
for you.
I didn't know
They're
that.
scooching close.
There's a juvie down this freeway.
Yeah.
And then there's the jail, which I never knew about. They like keep it hidden
I've
from
never
the
seen that
freeway.
prison before.
I've never seen it, and there's never been a sign for it like on the main freeway.
No, there's not.
Until you get off on the exit.
It's probably not like a max. Probably like a medium or something.
Probably.
Must be.
Because if someone escaped that, they could get away real quick.
You could hitchhike
Because
real
the ones that are
easily.
like off in like the highway, like
on the way to LA.
Yeah.
like there's
But
nothing
think-
around.
I think those are
Those
state
are-
prisons.
State.
Yeah.
This is federal. Oh, it could be max. They just
Yeah, but there's not a lot of
'Cause there's not
federal max prisons.
There's not even a sign out here that says
I think
"Don't
there's
stop for
two or-
hitchhikers,"
No, it doesn't.
and there is one on the way to LA.
LA.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 supermax for federal. Pelican Bay, and there's another one.
Pelican Bay is federal.
Yeah,
Oh.
Pelican Bay is federal, and there's another one that's supermax. Indiana or some Midwest,
Indiana,
somewhere in the Midwest.
I think I've seen that on a documentary.
Yeah.
What is so special about them?
It's like you're locked up 23.5 hours a day.
Yeah,
You only get like half an hour.
you ain't getting out.
Yeah.
You only get
like,
a lot of like recreation time.
You get like half an hour to look at the sky and go right back in.
That's a cloud. You good? Get back in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You saw the sun.
And
Get
you
inside.
better-
You got
you-
your vitamin D. Now go back in.
You better hope it's a sunny day that day.
Yeah, for
during
sure.
that time.
Yeah, because you're locked up 23.5 hours a day.
Oh my God.
And if you do something dumb, then you're locked up 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
There's like no sunlight, no natural light comes in.
I think
Light-
everywhere you walk in the prison, you're shackled.
Yeah.
Like they don't play.
Yeah. And the lights
They're,
on.
like,
The
the
lights
worst of the
on.
worst.
like these are like people that have killed like multiple people.
They're usually like people that kill people, or people that go to like a max prison and they get in a lot of fights. They
Yeah.
stab
Yeah.
people, and
Yeah.
they're like, "All right, you can't use your hands anymore. You gotta."
Yeah.
Oh, they're just like
There's
criminally insane.
And like the lights on
They're very
24 hours a
violent.
day.
Mm.
Yeah. It's like, that's why.
Sounds like they're very mentally ill.
most of the time, and they're very violent. Yeah,
Like that violence
crazy.
is very mentally ill.
It's something that, trust me, maybe first couple of days you can get through it, but after that it's just like it's nothing but silence.
you go crazy locked in a room. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
because it's just, there's nothing.
I can't be in the house all day.
And that's a house.
Yeah.
With a kitchen and
Yeah. And the TV
And
and communication devices.
like, and your food is served through a little slit.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner through a little slit. They don't even talk to you. They just open it up. You already know, because of the time. Open it up. Here goes your food. Yeah.
They don't have any entertainment, right?
No.
Are they allowed to have
Well,
books?
It depends on the prison. They have books.
They have books, but they don't have TVs or something like that.
Generally, no.
Yeah, and then you can't even call outside.
Really?
That's how restricted it is.
Zero contact with the
Yeah.
outside world?
And then like if you send letters and
Some
stuff like
of
that,
them.
they read your letters. Any email you get, they read everything.
I think they do get phone calls, but it's
That's if you behave, I think too.
yeah, if you behave.
Yeah.
If you're in solitary, yeah, you get nothing.
Yeah. But it's basically solitary.
Yeah. Supermax.
That's
Because there
crazy.
is a solitary within Supermax. Like you can get locked up more.
Yeah.
See, I can't watch those shows. I can't.
love those shows.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
can't.
Like,
Because I'm just like that just makes me
not
want to do anything bad anymore. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
It's like, especially like not do something stupid. You know what I mean?
Like super crazy.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't want to be locked up for the rest of my life.
That's why I don't get in fights. I don't do, I don't
Yeah.
even talk trash.
No,
Yeah. I don't even talk trash.
like
That's
when
so
I'm
true.
like when I'm driving and I'm with my wife, someone cuts us off or someone does something stupid, like you stupid. It's like relax, and she's like very fearful that everybody's carrying a gun,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what? I got a gun too. I just don't have it on me.
It's not on me.
Unless
at
I'm in
home.
Arizona. Unless I'm in Arizona.
Yeah, the only time I carry a gun is when I'm in Arizona.
Yeah.
And she's like, you gotta be careful. I'm like, they gotta be careful of me too. You know? And she's like, you don't got. She's like, but you don't have anything. I'm like, they don't know that.
Yeah.
They don't know that.
That
If
is
you-
true,
If you
though.
act crazy, people leave you alone. You know, you might not be crazy, but if you act crazy, they'll leave you alone.
Most of the time. Unless they're crazy too. Then they're
No,
like,
if
get
they're
out the
crazy.
car.
Yeah.
If they're crazy, I'll be like, see ya, sucker.
Yeah, for
You're like,
reals.
I'll be like, get out the car.
No. Yeah,
Yeah.
for reals.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Like my
scary.
younger brother, he used to be like really wild and crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But he's mellowed out now. He's
Yeah.
like,
Pull you out
of your
I'm all about the peace movement,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
Make love, not war.
Yeah. That's him
But
now.
he really has stories to tell.
Oh, yeah.
when he was
I want to
younger.
get him on here.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
get him out here. Actually, all my brothers, you know, even my
Yeah,
sister.
they all have different.
Yeah, they all have like different
interesting
yeah,
life stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one was in like the, what do you call it in the military? Like the
Marines.
Special Forces.
Yeah, special forces.
Yeah.
And then my older brother was during
Corpsman.
yeah, he was a corpsman during the Iraqi war.
He's been in every branch, hasn't he?
Close.
Almost like 3 or
Almost. He
Gus
was
wasn't
close.
in the Air Force, right?
Yes, he was.
He was?
He was.
4. What was he not in the
He was
Guard?
not in the Marines.
No, he was in the Marines, but the unit he was in to the Navy was attached
Like
to
the
Marine.
corpsman or
Yeah,
whatever?
corpsman.
Oh.
So he was attached to them, but he wasn't an actual Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my sister, she has stories too. She tells stories of growing up with my dad.
Oh,
those
yeah.
are stories too.
Yeah. If she wants to share.
If she
Air
wants to
that.
share
On the
that.
internet.
Dirty laundry.
Yeah.
No, but it's nothing bad.
Yeah.
You know what I
Just
mean?
funny
It's just
stories.
you just like I said, growing pains. You know, dealing with the strict dad who didn't let you do much of anything, but you know you survived.
Couldn't have
Yeah.
a dog.
No,
Yeah.
couldn't have a dog.
Is Sissy your first dog?
Sissy is my first dog.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Sissy's a matriarch of our.
yeah of
dog
our
family.
dog family.
She's
Yeah.
Navy's grandma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she. It was funny because
She was just scratching at the door right now and I had to put her in a crate.
This dog is like obsessed with him.
Yes.
Like Navy loves Lily the most, but Sissy like won't even go anywhere without him. Like if you try to take her for a walk, she'll just sit down and stare at him.
Yeah.
She's like, "Is he going? Because if he's not going, we're not going."
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever met a dog that's as loyal to my dad as Sissy is to you. Like
Yeah,
it's
no, but-
crazy.
You know what's funny.
She won't walk down the street without you.
No,
Like if I
no.
keep walking with her,
No.
One time
she'll
we walked
stop
her
and then turn.
near your house. And
Oh
we were
my
pulling
God.
her, and she slipped out the collar and ran back home.
She's
Yeah.
like straight. I'm booking it. Like,
Yeah.
See you suckers later. You guys go for a walk. I want back to my dad.
Yeah, Bud's like, like all happy with us.
Yeah,
Your other
yeah.
friend, but no, Sissy was like, I don't know you. I'm going back home.
'Cause I
And she
remem-
ran all the way back to your house.
I remember I was like looking for a French bulldog, and because of you is how I found a breed. We had bought our house.
What were you gonna get before I told you to get a French bulldog?
No, I was
yeah,
gonna get a pit bull,
but not
those-
just any pit bull.
like the ones that have the massive head, like those big,
Like
the
the
big
bullies.
bullies,
Yeah.
the big bullies. Because I've always liked pit bulls, right?
Yeah.
And then I had told my wife, "Is it is it okay if we get a dog?" And she was like, "Yeah, because she knew I never had a pet, right? I think we had a pet goldfish, but we fed that goldfish so much that it started off about this small, ended up being like seriously the size of a koi." Because we would always feed him. Hey, we always feed him. We would
Oh my
always feed
God.
him. Like closest we ever got to a pet. So I asked her, "Is it okay if we get it? Like, if I can, get a dog?" She's like, "Yeah." It's like, "What kind of dog do you want?" Like, I've always wanted a pit bull, like the ones with the massive heads. And so she was kind of scared because she's like, "No, they're dangerous, and we have kids around the house, and what if they attack the kid and this and that?" And I started thinking about it. And I was like, you're right, because my nephew's kids come around. Like, what if like a freakish accident comes up, and it happens, and I'm gonna be in trouble. Then I'm gonna feel bad, right? Because it attacked a member of the family. And then I think I had mentioned it to Lila that, you know, I was looking for a dog, and she was like, Dad, why don't you look into a French bulldog? I'm like, French? I never heard of French bulldogs before then, right? She was like, why don't you look into a French bulldog? French bulldog? So I went online on the phone and started looking like, wow, these are freaking ugly dogs, but they're cute, right? Because of their pudgy little face and their pointy ears. So I started looking. I was like obsessed. I'm going to get a Frenchie. And then there was a couple people I had called, but they all wanted to scam me, right? Like breeders out of state wanted to scam me. Oh, send us the money. Yeah, Western Union. Give us those green cards. Like, what do they call those? Green dots or something like that?
Yeah, green dot.
Like you deposit it in their account or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, how do I know, you know, this is legit? And then some of them would be offended because I would question them. So I'm like, oh,
Then
no,
they get mad.
Yeah,
Like, you're trying to scam me.
Yeah. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna go through I gotta see the dog in person.
Right.
So I started looking, and then I remember me and my wife went to Vegas one year, and we saw a breeder that had French bulldogs in Vegas, but he wanted too much money. And not just that, but that dog was a yapper. It would always bark. I'm like, oh, I don't want no yapper. And finally, we went to Vegas, and on the way back, I had told my wife, I said, hey, I found a breeder, you know, that's close to Palmdale. Do you mind if we go see him on the way back home? And she's like, yeah, let's go. So we went. And then I talked to the lady. Turns out couldn't have found a better breeder than her, because she was like, even to this day, I talked to her with concerns about like Sissy, because Sissy lately's been having seizures. So I called her, and then she was like, oh, you know, that's sad. Do this, do that. Take her to the doctor, and, you know, follow the advice she gave us. And then we went to go see her. It was like love at first sight. I was like, I'm not leaving here without this dog. And so we ended up getting it from her, and she was like, you know, giving us advice on what to do, what not to do. And then I think that's when she got attached to me, or I got attached to her, or whatever the case may be. Because when we got her, my wife was driving home, and I was like holding her in my arm, right here on my chest, and she would just look at me, and I look at her. She look at me, and I look at her like, wow. I've never had that feeling. Obviously, with your kids, it's different. Yeah. But with the pet, it's like a different feeling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was just like, I'm going to take pictures of her. I'm going to take her there. I'm going to take her there. And ever since then, she's been like really loyal. Because it's funny.
Extremely loyal.
She really is, because sometimes my wife would, because my wife works from home, she would leave the door open, but, you know, like leave the screen, right? And sometimes I'd park in front of my car, because she already knows the sound of my car. I'd park in front of our house. And sometimes I'd be on the phone looking at stuff, and I'd forget I'm at home, but I'd be looking at stuff. And then my wife would like come out, let the dog in, let Sissy in the car, because she's crying. She's like literally crying for you. I had to let her, because she started getting on my nerves. So she'd come in and she'd be all excited and everything. But I think this dog everybody's like, oh, she's so loyal to you. And I'm like, sometimes I don't see it, but then I do see it when I get home, because she gets all excited. And then my wife's like, Do any of the dogs do that to me? I was like, no, I don't see that.
No, they don't.
So she's like, these stupid dogs. But
that's your soul dog.
Yeah, but Bud does give her attention too, because she gives Bud a little bit more attention than she does to the rest of them.
Where do these names come from?
Sissy came from Urban Cowboy, which is one of our favorite movies. And then after we got Sissy, I had told my wife that we need to get a Bud for her. So Bud and Sissy. So that's where I got it. Bud and Sissy. Then after Sissy had the second time I breeded her, she had another litter. I decided I was going to keep one of the females, so we called her Pinky. And then one of the males, they were offering me, like lowballing me on him. I'm like, well, I'm not going to sell him for that amount. If that's the case, then I just keep him. So we kept Fonzie. And then Fonzie and Pinky came from Happy Days, you know.
Happy
Pinky,
Days?
Yeah, because Arthur Fonzarelli, which was Fonzie, and Pinky Tuscadero, they were like boyfriend or girlfriend. Yeah, that's where we kept it at.
That's cute.
One movie, one show.
One movie, one show. Well, it was one movie, one show.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Urban Cowboy is also a good way to describe you, because you've always lived in LA, but you're very much into like cowboy lifestyle.
I am.
Yeah, and like cowboy attire.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It's like full circle.
Yeah, and it's like I think I spent a lot of my time looking to buy like cowboy hats, boots, pants, shirts. Like today we went to Kimes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And because at the outlets they have the new. It just opened yesterday. Kimes are like, oh look, Kimes, let's go.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we went to go see the cowboy attire, but I'm like, nah, I gotta stop buying all this stuff because I don't think in my lifetime I can wear all the clothes that I have.
Yeah, that's true.
Because someone had asked me at work, like, how many pairs of boots do you have? And I'm like, dang, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like 12 pairs of boots?
Yeah, you really like
12,
it.
Yeah, like 12.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
12 pairs of boots. You only have two feet.
Yeah.
But there's 365 days out of the year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can alternate,
That's
right?
funny.
Yeah, that's cool.
Urban Cowboy. Your uncles make fun of me. You're no cowboy. I'm an urban cowboy.
Yeah,
They're like,
exactly.
you've
Yeah.
never been on a bull. Yes, I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
They're like, what bull? You don't need to know that.
Well, we'll have to do another episode next time you come back to visit. But you grew up on a ranch too, growing up.
Not really.
Well, your dad our grandpa would take you,
Grandpa's from a ranch, right?
and you would do ranch work.
When we would go visit.
Yeah.
When we would go visit. When we
Yeah.
would go visit the ranch during our vacations, we would go do ranch work. But it wasn't like we lived and did ranch work. We would only do ranch work when we would go on vacation.
Like a couple weeks at a time.
Yeah, like because we would go like my dad would take us for a whole month,
Yeah. Oh, nice.
and we thought we were going like the first time we went, we're like, oh, we're going on vacation to Mexico. Like, we were like all excited about going. Little did we know it was free labor for him.
Yeah.
right.
No, he literally put you guys to work the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like we did a well.
Did he spin it like it was vacation?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah,
my
he's like,
God.
we're going to Mexico. We're going to Mexico for
Yay.
vacation. Yeah, they were like, oh, we're going to Mexico for vacation. Nah, it was free labor for this man.
you
But you
see?
know what? Like thinking
Yeah.
back at the time, it wasn't like something we were disappointed with, right? Because we were still in Mexico. We didn't go to school for a month.
True.
And it's not like we worked from sunrise to sundown.
Yeah.
He still considered some of the U.S. labor laws over there, where we start working like at 8 and then we'd be done like by 2 or 3. And then the rest of the day we had time to hang out from the kids that lived at the ranch, who to this day I still talk to, that we still had the rest of the day to hang out with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when we would go, I remember we did like this like this stone wall, like a 10 by 20 foot stone wall. We would go to the riverbed and go get the rocks, go get the sand. It was like labor. It
Yeah, it
was
was.
labor. And I think I was probably like about 10 or 12 at the time.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, I'm like, I am not coming here to work. If I need anything done, I'm gonna hire somebody.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
Yeah.
been down there, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we went
Yeah.
couple years ago.
And
chill.
it was Grandpa would take us for free labor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was for free labor.
So
But it
you
wasn't-
did.
Like even to this day, none of my brothers like hold a resentment or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because at the
Yeah.
same time, yeah, we went to work, but we still had free time to be kids. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? And when we were there, like our grandparents would come and visit us, or we'd go to them, spend a time with them, and it was like thinking about it now, it was like fun because even now, like you can see what we did when we were kids. You know what I mean? Like when your cousins go, we're like, yeah, we did this one when we came, when we were 10 or 12 and stuff like that. Because a lot of what we did is still standing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
And Grandpa did a lot of stuff at the ranch that to this day, is still around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He one thing about my dad was he was a hardworking guy and he took care of his money. You know what I mean? He never spent money on stuff we didn't need. He spent money on stuff we needed. You know what I mean? I remember growing up, we would be like not hurt, but we'd be disappointed because like people around us would have like name brand shoes like Nikes and stuff like that. But we'd have Adidas. We'd have the Adidas with the 5 stripes instead of the 3 stripes. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of times I remember he was very careful on how he spent his money. You know, we'd see like Nikes for $20, right? And then we're like, "Oh, Dad, we want these for like $20." He's like, "Why?" if these others that look just the same are $9.99.
Just the same.
Yeah, they're $9.99. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
So he'd buy like $9.99 Sykes instead of Nikes.
Sykes.
You know what I mean?
The knockoff.
Like,
And then we would go. Like, he would buy us like I said, like bootleg Adidas with the 5 stripes and not the 3 stripes. But that was just because he was just very careful with his
frugal.
money.
Yeah, he was frugal.
And I think like growing up, that's like one thing I didn't want to put you guys through. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I would always, obviously I wouldn't buy you the most expensive shoe, but I wouldn't buy you the cheapest shoe either, you know?
Yeah.
Because I remember I always thought I don't want to put my kids through that, you know?
You didn't wear the Shaqs.
The shit.
Walmart?
No, they
No,
never.
one time I asked my dad. I remember this one situation. I asked my dad. I was like, "Dad, can I have like $30 or something? I want to buy these like knockoff Toms." And he was like, no, you're not wearing no knockoff. So he sent me like 40 or 50 for like the regular Toms. And I was like, oh, okay. Like,
They were
whatever.
the Bobs, weren't they?
They were like from Tilly's. They were like some no name brand.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just take these.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want these. And you're like, no. And then you sent me money for like the name brand
The
ones. And I
real
was like,
ones,
okay.
yeah.
I was like, all right.
Because if there's one thing about me and my brothers like make fun of me is like everything I have to have has to be name brand. Not really. It really
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
But if
You probably prefer it.
I prefer it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can.
I just prefer. I think you should, if you can, buy the higher quality thing that's gonna last longer.
Oh, for sure.
But
Because there's a saying in Spanish like
buy it nice or buy it twice.
no because there's a saying in Spanish
So
like
we say.
lo barato te sale caro, which basically means the cheaper stuff you buy is gonna end up costing you more at the end.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
You look at it and you decide if it's worth whatever it
Yeah,
costs.
something like generic medication. is fine.
Generic
It's the
medication?
same
for
thing.
sure.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like store brand anything usually.
Except cereal. That
Oh
don't
yeah,
taste the same.
No.
cereal. Yeah,
No.
cereal and
No.
Oreos. You
It
can't.
didn't used to. And Oreos. No.
You can't buy knockoff Oreos.
You can't.
Sometimes they're good, but not usually.
No.
You can't get the Walmart brand cookies.
Principes are good.
Principes from Mexico are good.
The what?
Principe?
Principes.
It looks like it's like a chocolate with the cream,
They're,
cookie?
they're a Mexican cookie.
but they're less sweet. We've probably never
Principe.
seen them. We got them at the Oxxo and
La
Oxxo. Oxxo, yeah. Brendan's favorite store, Oxxo. I gotta hit up the Oxxo.
I thought it was Chidrawi.
Oh,
Chidrawi.
Chidrawi.
The one time we went to
Chidrawi.
Cancun.
I haven't seen one.
We haven't seen a Chedraui. I wonder if they're
Chedraui
only in
sounds-
that
Like,
Yucatan
they're in
area.
southern Mexico.
Southern.
A lot of them are in southern Mexico.
Mhm.
Yeah.
we haven't seen Chedraui.
Chidrawi. No, it's
I
like
forget
it's
what
like it's
store we
like
went
it's
to.
like southern Mexico.
Yeah.
Also,
Chedraui.
Chedraui. When we went, the commercials. That's
Yeah,
where
we'll
he
do
got
that.
it.
Let's end with that. When we went to Cancun, there was like this radio commercial playing,
Oh yeah.
and it kept sounding like they were saying "El hamburguesa," and I was like, "Lily, why does it say "El hamburguesa" on the radio? Like that's weird. Why would it say that?"
yeah.
She's like, "I don't know," and I kept asking her like 5 times,
And I was like, I don't know. Ask my dad.
and then what was it actually?
It was Chedraui.
No,
No.
Radio Turquesa.
Radio Turquesa.
Oh, Radio Turquesa. Oh,
But he
like-
thought it was
oh, that's
hamburguesa.
right.
Yeah.
It was Radio Turquesa.
So it was-
And your dad
Yeah,
was like, it's
turquoise
turquoise radio.
radio.
That's just the
Yeah,
name.
turquoise, yeah.
Because
Like,
it's
why they
like the
keep talking about the
Caribbean.
hamburger on this
Yeah,
stupid-
this is the Caribbean. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
right.
funny.
Yeah.
Good times. That was Brendan's first time to Mexico and first time on a plane.
Yeah.
Was it
that
really?
trip?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Was
trip.
it really?
I've
Yeah,
never been on a plane.
yeah. Until that
Really?
time.
Yeah, we never
Yeah.
even went anywhere. I don't even think I went out of the state with my mom until I was like 18 or
You were
Something.
like 12.
no, not
You went
12.
to Kansas.
Oh yeah, we did do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Yeah, with like
But
one
first
of
time
her
out of the
boyfriends.
country and everything.
In Mexico.
Mhm.
It wasn't too bad,
Yeah.
was it?
No, it was nice.
That was one
I mean,
of
it
the
was
best trips
Cancun,
ever.
So yeah, it was super.
Well,
Well, we need to do
that-
we need to do
what
another
about
family
what about
vacation
the time
with
you
you.
went to the ranch? Was that bad?
No, it wasn't bad. It was nice. It was different. It was like calm.
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Because
chill.
you went from to like a resort resort city, resort town to like a ranch literally,
Like a rural-
right? Like rural,
Very rural. Yeah.
You know?
That was nice. But I've been to Mexico like several times in between there.
Mm-hmm.
So
But you would go to
cities.
cities like Rocky Point.
Mm-hmm.
You'd go to
Cabo. Went to Cabo.
What was it called?
Guadalajara.
Guadalajara.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that time you guys went to Guadalajara. That's when you guys went
That's
to
the
the
same
ranch.
trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah,
same
because I
trip.
went to go pick you guys up at Guadalajara,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad.
No.
Yeah, a
It
lot
was
of-
good. It's good experience.
Like the biggest misconception Mexico has is like the cartels,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And I tell people, and people are like, 50-50. 50 people agree with me. 50% of the people agree with me. 50% don't. I'm like, you know what? It's like, I get it. There's cartel violence in Mexico. But if you're not involved in that, if you're not out there 2 or 3 in the morning doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing, hanging out, with people that you have no business being with, stuff is gonna happen. But with us, we're in the ranch. We're usually in the house by 9, 10 o'clock, and we're away from anything that happens, you know? But if you're out there looking for trouble, you're going to find it just like here in the United States.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's areas here in the United States I wouldn't go to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't.
Nothing good outside happens after midnight.
I mean, I get
Yeah.
I get it that stuff happens in Mexico with the cartels, but cartels, they just deal within them
With each other,
with each
usually.
other, you know.
Yeah.
They're not out there like looking for innocent people to harm. You know, you might get caught up in the crossfire, but you might get caught up in the crossfire anywhere you go, even here. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many times in LA, me minding my own business, I was caught in a crossfire. But you know, am I going to stop living because of that? No, you just know where not to go the next time. You
That's
know what I mean?
true. Yeah.
But that's about it. You know.
That's true.
I mean, it's everywhere you go. There's stuff that's happening. You know what I mean? You don't have to go far, right? The safest city, stuff happens. You know what I mean? It might not be because it starts from there, but people from the outside go and do things, just like the cartels. You know, they come from other areas to start trouble. But as long as you're like not doing anything you're not supposed to do, then you have no issues. You
The
know?
same with like New York City. Like people go and visit there. Millions of people go every year. Millions of people live there. But like, you know, like people hear like, oh, it's so dangerous or that it used to be. And like, you know,
it's
like anywhere.
That's like with any big city, any
Yeah.
major city, you're going to
It's
go
the same
through
thing.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you just do not be
But-
scared.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah, next
we'll do
time
it again.
Yeah,
Next time you come to visit.
we'll talk about the second murder trial I was in. That one was even crazier. Not because of what happened, but how this guy was caught. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how it's like nowadays, if you try to commit the perfect murder, you better make sure it's perfect. You know what I mean?
This isn't no O.J. Simpson trial.
No.
Yeah.
I mean this trial. That's why I tease my wife. I'm I'm a professional juror.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you're not. You're not a. Yes, I am. I was in 2 murder trials where the guy was convicted of murder. I know how the system works. You don't, so you can't tell me I'm not. I'm not a professional juror.
Yeah.
And she just shakes her head. You're crazy.
Yeah.
I said, you married a crazy guy. But thanks for having me. You
Thanks
guys.
for being on
Thank
here,
you.
Dad.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to have you on here
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was I was looking forward to it, honestly, because
That's
I
good.
see you guys' videos and I'm like, I'm gonna be there one day. I'm gonna be there one day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in front of the cameras one
Yeah.
day.
That's funny.
Not only am I Netflix famous, I'm YouTube famous.
YouTube famous.
You know?
Like, we get like 10 views.
As 10 more I would have gotten without being
Yeah.
on here.
Yeah.
We'll get at least 100.
We'll
Yeah.
give at least all the family will watch it.
Yeah, for
Hopefully.
sure.
They
I
better.
think that's who watches it the most, right?
Yeah.
Some people, yeah. I think
Yeah.
Gus. Well, always with the one I did with my friend, Gus. I would always see comments.
Gus would
every
always
once in a
comment.
while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gus.
Yeah.
And he would
Gus
tell
was,
me when I see him that he would watch it.
Yeah.
Gus is like your number 1 fan.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
Mm,
You guys
he's
should
awesome.
get him on here too.
Yeah, we
like all my
should.
brothers.
Well, he needs to come visit. All you
All
uncles
of
need to
them.
come
Yeah,
visit.
they need to come
Yeah.
because they all have stories to
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We just have a line out our door.
Next Mota.
Yeah.
Next Mota, come in. Next.
You can even have grandma, but the only thing is with grandma is like you have
You
a
need
hard
a
time translator.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
But doesn't AI do that already? Like translate?
It might, but I don't know how to do all that.
No,
Yeah,
huh?
we'll have to
we're
figure
not there
that one.
yet.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we'll have to get
change it.
grandma on
Because
here.
she has crazy stories to tell. I mean, they're personal, but
Yeah.
still though, you know, there's stories, you know, you can
Yeah.
tell because I remember one time, I know we got to end this really quick, but once I start talking, I can't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely
Yeah.
a longest episode.
Yeah.
But there's always so much to talk about with you.
Yeah. Like with grandma, she was a couple years ago, we went to Mexico and she was telling us stories about grandpa and her. And I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I like, Mom, you were like a saint.
I remember that was that trip, I think.
Yeah. Like, Mom, you were a saint to go through everything you went through. I like, you know, I love my dad, but that man was a son of a gun. That's putting it nicely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm sure every family has a story to tell. I'm sure if you bring your sister or you bring Yayo and I'm not supposed to mention names, but they probably already know their names, but your younger sister, they have stories to tell too. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
mom, if you bring mom on, she has stories to tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
95%
hard
of them
to stay on track. But
yeah,
she's got
yeah,
'em.
yeah. But everybody has a story to tell, and that's the cool
Yeah.
thing about like having a podcast is that you'll never end. You'll never finish telling a story because there's always a story to tell.
Yeah,
You know what I
everyone's got
mean? Like my
something.
cousins, they have stories to tell, and it's like it's endless.
It is.
All you need now is just the views, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We just need the views.
Yeah. But thanks for having me because, like I said, I watch you guys, and I noticed that when. Yeah, since you started having her on, I like she keeps mentioning me. She keeps mentioning, you know what I mean? I'm
I was like, I want to get my dad on here. I want to get my dad on here.
I'm like, they're probably sick and tired of me without them ever knowing who I am or stuff like that.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
it's a big review.
Yeah.
It's like finally her dad. She can shut up now.
But thanks for having me, and hopefully this podcast, this episode. I don't know.
I hope
mean,
everyone watches
hope
it.
everyone watches
yeah,
it.
I hope everyone
It'll do
watches it.
well.
Yeah.
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 Thank
Love
you
you,
guys
Dad.
for listening.
Yep.
Please
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. And like I said, I'll come back for another story with the murder trial number 2. That one's even crazier. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.